Greetings. Once again, it's your boy, Cypher the MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. You know who it is, the Bronx Don, coming to you live and direct. Thank you for joining the Into the Cypher podcast, where we continue to be on this journey to be the best version of ourselves. We continue to be on this journey, and I say on this journey, because I'm on this journey with you. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you had a blessed weekend. We have an upcoming week coming up, so DJ, there you go. DJ is on point, Kyrie Irving. I'm not an MC for a reason, people. I'm an MC for a reason, you know what I'm saying? But you see what today's topic is, and I'm going to shed some light onto that, and hopefully we can get through that. And as always, you know that we have to get through our disclaimers. We got to get those out the way, because without those, it will be crazy. But definitely make sure that you continue to download and share the podcast, because you could have been anywhere in the world. You most likely are, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. I really, really do. By the way, shout out to Jay-Z. I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist now.
Nope.
I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not a sex therapist. I'm not a family therapist or anything of the sort. I don't have any masters or doctorates on my wall from Harvard. I am just a regular Joe Schmo. Just a regular guy giving you the benefit of his experience. And we're sitting down kind of like a fireside chat, just looking at life from different perspectives to see if we can be the best version of ourselves that the Creator intended. So I know today's topic is going to be kind of odd. It's going to be kind of weird. Like, wait a minute. What are you talking about? The power is mine? That sounds like a cartoon or something of the sort. And it is. I was doing a little research. You know your boy like to do his research now. And I don't know if you remember this cartoon. It was called Captain Planet and the Planeteers. And upon looking back at this cartoon, I remember the cartoon, things of that nature. And Wikipedia was not available back then. It came out right around 1990. Right when we really started to kind of have all these facts and these studies done about taking care of the earth and pollution, and you start seeing the commercials on TV of the waters being polluted and oil spills, and I think the spill, the Exxon spill, happened right around this time as well. And environmentalists were really becoming all the rage, so to speak. That it was becoming more of a focus on taking care of the environment, and hence the cartoon was created. It was created by Ted Turner, who was a known environmentalist at the time. So basically, the Earth, represented by a woman named Gaia, basically she's been asleep for a long time. She awakens to find the earth pretty much in disarray, pollution everywhere, running amok or whatever. So she sends out these 5 magical rings, right? Not to adults, mind you. She didn't send the rings to adults. She sent them to teenagers. So I'm guessing there was an underlying reason for that. But she sends them to teenagers, pretty much of the elements of the earth itself: earth, wind, fire, water, and heart. So there were these 5 rings, right? And they went to different kids from different continents, really. Kwame, voiced by LeVar Burton. I realized that there were a lot of actors who voiced in this cartoon that you may be like, what? I didn't know that. Like Whoopi Goldberg, she was the voice of Gaia. Margot Kidder also voiced her. And the show had Martin Sheen, Tim Curry. Who else? just a lot of actors that you'd be like, wow, I didn't think they did that. Jeff Goldblum was one of the villains, and there are villains in this cartoon. So, but the point of the cartoon was to kind of bring focus to pollution and things of that nature that happened. And these rings went to teenagers. I'm thinking you had to kind of change a mindset. You had to change your mindset in this, because I guess during the 90s, adults they were taking a blind eye to it. For the most part, they were taking a blind eye to, pollution. Well, someone else will do that. Someone else will take care of that. And the point of the show was pretty much, it is your job, your responsibility as well. Granted, if you fast forward 30 plus years to now, we definitely have like another billion people in the world. Maybe a little bit more. So of course, it definitely takes a little bit more weight now. But the cartoon was, for the most part, these kids battling these villains. Now, the villains were adults. So, I mean, this cartoon had a kind of some underlying perspectives and angles that you kind of have to look at. But these 5 magical rings, when they pretty much, called them out, or whatever the case may be, summoned Earth's champion, Captain Planet. Now, this dude had green hair. He was multicolored. If Skittles was a person, let me tell you, if Skittles was a person, he would look like Captain Planet. And he would fight them with his powers, or whatever the case may be. His only weakness was, of course, pollution. So if he got a speck of dust on him, or some mud or whatever, or some radiation, he would be like, oh, I'm weak, and whatever the case may be. And then he'll, the rings would get their powers back, and, whatever. And I'm like, really? I mean, to me, that was the one downside of this whole cartoon. But anyway, it was these kids versus the adults. So it was kind of like a new mindset versus an old mindset. And I wanted to ask this question: do you know that the power is yours? The power is yours to change your own mindset. You do not have to conform to what is going on currently. I'm with this movement, or I'm with that movement, or I'm with this, this ideology, or this ideology over here, or whatever, because it's all the rage, or what's popular right now. You can actually say, you know what, let me think about this let me think about the impact. If I take a stance, or let me see why I feel the way I feel about this or that. The power is yours in that regards. Also, you have the power to change. In my perspective, I really feel that humans will change on one of 2 conditions. Either when they're forced to change, meaning they have no other choice but to actually change the way that they've been doing something, or change the way they've been thinking, or they do it willingly. They do it voluntarily. It's a voluntary change, which to me is a lot easier, because you have control over what you're changing. Exactly. You're not having to say, go by exactly what is someone else's, perspective, or what have you. You have the power to do that. Why is that important? Well, many of us are looking for example, different ways to make money, to earn income, to afford a lifestyle that we can be comfortable in. Maybe not a millionaire or a billionaire or anything such as that, but just something that we can just say, hey, you know what? I just want to be comfortable. So you can choose to go the route of stocks, or bonds, or CDs, or Bitcoin, or you can try to find different ways to make money online. And there's a plethora of ways to do that. Plethora, I say. Your boy's using his SAT words. But the fact of the matter is this: you have that power. And just like these kids, when they said, fire, wind, water, earth heart. You know, they had to point their rings up, and, you know, when Captain Planet was formed, when all of these 5 powers came together, you know, he said, I am Captain Planet. He made a declaration. Sometimes you have to make a declaration to those around you, or even to yourself, that the power is still yours. Regardless if you have to pay bills, or you got this coming against you. Oh, this is due, this is due, this is due. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to be. I'm this age, and I'm still trying to discover myself. The power is still yours. It may not seem like it. It may seem like you're behind the 8 ball. And trust me, like I said, I've been there myself. I've been there, and sometimes I do deal with that myself, where I'm like, really? Is the power mine? And I have to reaffirm it for myself. Yes, the power is indeed yours. Are you someone that is ready to strike out on their own and get their first apartment? You and your roommates are all ready and set to go to live the good life and pretty much get your life started? Or are you about to leave college and looking for a new place to live in a new city with your new degree? Well, guess what? There's a company called Credit Rent Boost that will allow you to get credit for the rent that you pay and get it reported to the credit bureaus. This will not only allow you to boost your credit, but also set you up long term, so when you are ready to make your first purchase as a homeowner. So give them a try. CreditRentBoost.com, and you can use promotion code OVM24522. It may be the best decision you ever made. So when you realize the power is mine, hopefully it takes a different perspective. Hopefully it takes a different perspective, because it's one thing to have someone tell you. That's an external motivation. I mean, it's good to have external motivation at times, because we all doubt ourselves. We all kind of say, wow, am I doing this the right way? Am I going about this the right way? You know, what else could I be doing? Am I doing this? It can lead to a lot of self-doubt and sometimes self-stagnation. You kind of just stop, and then you're stuck thinking. You know, it's kind of like putting your car in neutral and then just letting it idle. You're just there. Sometimes you have to reaffirm that with yourself. The power is yours. And you may not be Kwame from Africa who had earth, or Linka from Russia who had water, or Wheeler, the fiery redhead boy from North America, or Ming from, I think her name was Ming. Correct me if I'm wrong here. No, Guy from Asia, or Mati from Brazil. So they tried to get multicultural kids together to fight the bad guys, to you know, and everything such as that. And I understand, because it was what they were getting to was that it is going to be a concerted effort. It's going to take black, it's going to take white, it's going to take Asian, it's going to take you know, Hispanic. It's going to take all the peoples of the earth to come to combat themselves. So I think, in my mind, that's what the adult representation was. We're fighting against ourselves. We're fighting against our own methods that we're using to poison and pollute the earth. We're fighting to fight those old ways of thinking. And this is what we also have to do ourselves as adults. We have to fight those old ways of thinking and begin new ways and new perspectives on how we view ourselves. Remember, you always have to start with self first. You always have to start with self first. That's always the good starting point. Have you ever thought of possibly starting your own podcast? Well, I can tell you firsthand, they can feel overwhelming if you don't know where to get started, and that's where Buzzsprout comes in. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest and best way to launch a professional podcast, already helping over 100,000 people launch their own podcasts. Buzzsprout will get your podcast into every major podcasting platform like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. You also will get a great looking podcasting website and so much more. To start your own podcast and get a $20 Amazon gift card, follow the link in the show notes. This lets Buzzsprout know that we sent you and helps support our show. Buzzsprout, the easiest way to start a podcast. And when you have that starting point, nothing can stop you. Nothing can sway you. Nothing can keep you from reaching that next level. Now, granted, you may say, well, what does my next level look like? Well, you won't know until you get there. But you will know it when you get there. That may seem kind of Mr. Miyagi or Dungeon Master-ish when, or something Yoda would say, no, soon you will. You'll know when you get there because you'll have this feeling of accomplishment. You'll have this feeling of, okay, that light bulb goes off and you're like, okay, now I understand. Okay, now I can move forward with this. Now I can move forward with that. And you'll move on to the next phase of your journey because the power is yours. And granted, there will be those villains, air quotes here, you can't see them, but they're there. There will be those villains that tend to creep up and come against you. Self-doubt, worry, anxiety, and then you'll have those external factors of disbelief, non-support, those naysayers that, are looking at what you're trying to do or what you're attempting to do, and they want to judge you and say, isn't it about time that you give this up? Or you're too old to do this? Is it really a good time to start a business? The economy is individuals like that. And I'm just going to be totally frank and honest. They're too timid and afraid to start something on their own. So when they see someone actually trying to do something that they likely could do themselves, they want to just kind of put as much naysay on it as possible, as much disbelief, and try to instill and plant that seed of doubt within you. So that way it won't look like that they couldn't do it themselves. Remember now, keep in mind, misery loves company. Misery loves company. So if one person is not doing something and another person is successful, hopefully that person will be happy for their friend's success. But then you have those that, I could have done that. I just didn't have time, or I didn't want to, this economy, or this. There's always these excuses that they disguise as reasons as to why they couldn't do something. But then they want to tell someone else, you can't do that, or it's too, this, that, and the third. You don't want to do that. You have the power to still overcome those villains, whether they're external or internal. Now, I don't know if you can fight the MCU, the Eternals, but that's a totally different podcast, I wouldn't suggest you try to fight them. They're kind of strong. But the thing that I want you to take away from this episode, that I want you to kind of look at yourself and say, you know what? The power is mine. I don't have a magic ring with some earth element. I don't summon some guy to come fight, this battle that is too strong for me to fight. Keep in mind that you always have the Creator on your side. God is always with you, no matter what. He's always there. So He is your Captain Planet. So calling on Him when you have those moments of weakness, and I know it's very easy to go to your best friend or to your spouse or things of that nature. And sometimes maybe if they are in tune with the Creator, He will speak through them, because sometimes we need to hear a human voice. I get that. I understand. But when you don't have that, if you don't have that, you pray about it. You leave those uncontrollables to the man upstairs. and you will feel a weight lift off of your shoulders. You will feel a weight just kind of come off you, and you're going to feel lighter. And that feeling that you're having is that power that is yours. No one can take that away. You can take it away from yourself, but why would you? You still have so much more to do. You have to believe in yourself, because I believe in you. And who am I? I am Cypher the MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. You know, thank you so much for listening. Continue to download this. If you're watching this on YouTube, definitely drop a mic on the like button for your boy. Hit the subscribe. It's free. It's easy. Just click, point and click. And as always, before you love anyone else, you must first love yourself. And I am out this thing. The Bronx Dog. Cypher.
I will not lose. Let me tell you dudes what I do to protect this. Shoot at you actors like movie directors.